look marvelous.
Somebody's looking fabulous.
You look so goofy with that.
I know. Well, I was going to wear the glasses with my regular stuff, but then you came in and reminded me that we have Jeff and Mel Yasick coming on this week. And Jeff is obviously part of the Packers fan Hall of Fame. So we thought we'd get all dressed up. And I thought, I can't afford to not wear these glasses. So
you might not think that that's a big deal, but it's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal here.
And we're going to hear,
yes.
And we're going to hear, which will be fun hearing more from Mel and Jeff about, how that all took place and all of the different ins and outs of what they had to do and all of the celebration. And, they're still in this year. And so, he's got Packer tickets, and I think he's got a gift certificate to the Packer Pro Shop and different things like that. So that's why we're repping these hats and those glasses, though. Those glasses, that's just
looks good.
Well, they almost look like fighter pilot goggles.
Yeah, they are.
With that.
No, they're polarized fishing glasses I got from a neighbor. They're
from Donnie.
From Donnie.
Okay.
Yeah, they're vintage. So
Nice.
I thought, because I always try to mix it up when I come into the screen and do something different when I, show them something, whatever it is. And I thought, well, I got some new glasses. I'll show them off.
Yeah. So I've been waiting. We've talked with Jeff and Mel about having them on, and I've been waiting for this for probably well over a month. Probably several months. We've been talking about having him on, and then we contacted him, and his agent said that he could, be a part of the podcast, and his dad's going to be here too. Kind of legal. He'll be the legal. Make sure he has all the I's dotted, the T's crossed.
Our people got with their people, and it just took a little while for it to.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And what else? We're going to have some fun things. Becky and my wife Becky and Jonathan are visiting her family in Michigan right now.
Yep.
And so we're going to record our fun part a little bit later on this weekend. Yeah. And we don't know what that's going to be because we never do.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, and then I'm going to talk about that I don't get paid to be a VO coach.
You do coach in a roundabout way, but you don't
get paid.
Offer your services like that.
Yeah.
So, I think that's about all we've got. So, episode 21, let's get started.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. This is our episode 21, and this is where we talk about all things voiceover, and this week especially,
the
a little bit more, the Packers.
Yeah, the Packers.
Yeah. Yeah, so this week, Mel, Jeff, as we talked about earlier, do's and don'ts, why you're not a paid coach for voiceover, and some fun stuff later this weekend. So let's get into our 21st episode with some Todd's tips.
I'm going to do that, but first I'm going to take this hat off because it is something that you would wear in December at Lambeau Field.
And just to let you know that my dad asked if, I'm going to wear this hat and it's going to mess up my hair. His hair actually looks better now when he
went to the Green Bay stylist.
Yeah, it looks better now. Usually he's got a big rooster on his head, and he's got to mat it down a little bit, but it looks better than what it did before he had it on.
The boys always tease me, especially before you got in voiceover, they'd always tease me about how I never dressed up to go down to my studio, and you can make money just, in your shorts and t-shirt, and I'd always have a rooster, a hair sticking up.
From these things too. I mean, I
Right.
haven't had long hair for probably a year now,
Right.
because I'm losing my hair. It's obvious.
Yeah.
And so I've cut ties with it literally. So
Literally, yeah. Yeah, so we're doing do's and don'ts, and Damon will place the caveats here. So just so we can be clear about the fact that what I do in my voiceover business and what you do in your voiceover business is really none of my business. However, I think that there are certain principles and certain things that you can hear other voiceover talent talk about and then apply to your particular situation. Maybe some of them don't apply at all, like my age, the years I've been in voiceover, maybe some other things that you can see right there.
how you make your money, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but there's enough crossover in business in general or being a business owner that I think you can gain from some insights. And if you work hard enough at it, I think you can figure out some things that you can apply by the things that I talk about. So I don't get paid to be a voiceover coach. I choose not to. I've chosen not to. I also don't get paid for anything related to voiceover coaching, such as demo production, just as one example. Nor do I get any funds from
Commission.
VO Marketing Pro,
Correct.
our direct email marketing company
Family
that
business.
works for, that you six boys own. And I just really enjoy helping because you're my kids and because it's one way that I can be around other voiceover talent like you, if you're a voiceover talent. And
You're kind of an unpaid consultant.
yeah, and I like that. I like being able to do that, and I like being able to do things for our VO Marketing Pro voice roster members and also the people that we send out for, and of course, you and your brothers. But all of my numbers that I share each and every week are just strictly voiceover numbers. There's nothing else. I don't make any other money doing anything else. Now, why don't I coach? Or why have I chosen, at least up to this moment in time, not to coach? Well, I've done that for two basic reasons, and hop in anytime you want because we've talked about this many, many times over the last months and years. First, honestly, and I don't mean to sound negative, but and maybe this is a Todd's tough
We haven't
love
had one of those
segment
Dun, dun,
right now.
dun.
So if you're a voiceover talent or a voiceover coach, you might want to turn this off because I don't want to step on your toes unneedingly. But first, a pet peeve of mine, and I mean it, it's a pet peeve. It kind of greatly annoys me.
Mm-hmm. And it should.
It grates on me.
It should.
That in general, with voiceover, the voiceover industry, and in particular, well, in general, I should say, in industries and on the internet in general, but in particular, the VO industry, there seems to be an overabundance of voiceover coaches and gurus, especially those who start to offer their services in the first year, 2, 3 years of being a voiceover talent.
Mm-hmm.
That to me just seems to be
Premature.
You would have to be really, really special. And maybe you are if you've done that. Maybe you are very, very special as far as just a gifted teacher. You've just taken things in, soaked them up, and you're just ready to, be an expert in voiceover. But in all actuality, most can't prove or don't want to talk about the actual money that they've made in voiceover. Second, and very closely related to that fact, are three things. First, I'm almost too busy in my own voiceover business to do any coaching. Sure, I could fit coaching in, but the second reason is I want all my time and energy to go to my VO business, at least at this point. I can make a lot more money doing VO than doing coaching at this point. And so I just want to continue to have that part of my life and my only income stream continue to be solid and grow. And I don't want anything infringing on that in a paid situation. And third, I wanted to make sure that I was seasoned and successful in my VO career before hanging out my VO coach shingle. So at this moment, I don't get paid. And I've talked privately to you boys and to my wife about the fact that maybe I'm getting closer to offering paid voiceover coaching services in the areas that I think that I can help people. And I have those in my mind. There are certain areas I can't help you. Like, for instance, I'm not going to give you any information about tech other than you better talk to a tech expert. Or social media. I am not a social media expert at all. I'm a novice. And I kind of am fine with that. I'm just not good at it. I don't want to take the time to invest in it. You guys help me out.
That goes into your being too busy, though. I see a lot of people that are posting on their social media accounts instead of working. So to me, that's kind of like, hey, I've got a post on to let people know how I'm doing, stuff like that. And it's like, you should be too busy to do that like you are. I mean, you've got a Facebook, you help out when, somebody posts on VO Marketing Pro, stuff like that. But too many people, it seems like, are spending time trying to show that they're a voiceover artist instead of just being a voiceover artist and you don't care about that. Mm-hmm. You care about making money. You care about providing for your family. And it's not about the glamour of it. It's the dirty work that you do. And so I see that as well with voiceovers. I'm a person that's fairly decent at social media. I grew up with it and stuff like that, but I see you not really caring, not posting your jobs, like, hey, just worked with so-and-so or, great opportunity here. You're kind of like, well, I don't really need the, pat on the back, stuff like that. I just work, anyway. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, it does. Some people use social media, or at least they claim to use social media as a way to really build their business. And far be it from me, if that's doing that, if that's doing that for you. In other words, if being on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these different social media places, if that's actually building your business, have at it.
Yeah.
Good on you. It doesn't have to be done my way, like direct email marketing and using some online platforms. That does not have to be the only way to make money. Trust me. But if you're spending time and it's eating up time and you're not getting the ROI, and it's just kind of meeting a need that's not getting you where you need to go in being a successful and profitable voiceover talent, then what you kind of have is you have a social media presence or maybe a hobby, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine if you do. For me, I want to be a full-time voiceover talent and I want to have a profitable business. And so that's how I've gone about things. And again, you don't have to do it exactly like I do it, but just have that. If your goal is to be profitable, then just make sure that all the activity of being on Facebook and all these different things, if they aren't getting you to where you need to go, then you need to reevaluate that. If they're helping or you're in that position where you are a VO coach and that's helping other people, fine. Yeah. I'm not being critical of that at all because there are a lot of good coaches that use social media and that's what's available. So good on them.
Yeah, I guess I was saying that sometimes I wonder how those people are doing in voiceover because they're spending time on social media and it's like, is that taking away from time that you could be doubling down on whatever efforts it is marketing, even if it's not even if it's not direct email marketing.
Yeah, right.
Are you wasting time trying to show people that you're doing well or that you're having a good time or you're whatever it is? Sometimes it can look fake.
And you don't have to wait. Again, you do you. You don't have to wait till you're in your 13th year like I have. It's just something that I've decided. And I didn't plan on not coaching, maybe. I guess.
But you had that in your mind that you didn't want.
I didn't want to be
you didn't
that
want to be
guy.
that guy.
Yeah.
Because it does. It drives, I watch you. You're my coach. And I don't see you worrying about some of these things. Maybe it would help here and there, but you've shown that you can do it without that. And to me, that's something worthy of we've said, Dad, you should coach because 13 years, I think you said, and I won't get into too many details, but there's been 7 years out of your 13 that you've made 6 figures. Or maybe was it $200,000?
Well,
7 years.
in 19, that shows my age. In 2016 was the first year I was over six figures, and then every year after that, for 3 years running, it was over 200,000, and now the last 2 years, it's been, or 2 years prior to this, it's been over 300,000. And just yesterday, I matched I got to the $200,000 mark for 2022. So I'll at least get that, if I drop over dead or have a stroke or,
lose your voice somehow.
Yeah, if something happens, I'll at least have gotten to that for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021,
2022.
6 years I've made multiple six figures in the last two, 300,000. And unless the economy just goes bust, or like I said, I have physical problems, I would think this year I would be close to that. But once
again, to point that out, that's just voiceover.
Correct.
That's not coaching. That's not demo production. That's not social media expertise. That is just voiceover. And I don't know how many coaches can say that they make $300,000+ in just voiceover. To me, that's impressive, and that's something to follow. If you were to do coaching at some time, you probably will do coaching at some time.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious that you're kind of in a league of your own right now of being able to produce that much. There's people out there coaching that frankly don't make even $100,000. And that's not a shot at them. It's just be careful who you're listeling to. Because
yeah, I think that's the point that I've always tried to make when I bring this subject up is it's not like anybody. I mean, honestly, Hudson, you could easily go in front of the camera and you could talk about what you've learned and what you're learning. And in a sense, you would be an expert because you have experienced that and you've become successful at it. But
marginally.
Well, yeah, but you just have to be careful because 1 year at $100,000, that's great. Most people don't. I think
that just 1 year doesn't make you.
Right.
It's being able to put that together for year after year after year. And that's what you're showing. And you're not even getting paid to coach. And that's quite to me, that's quite the statement. Obviously you're my dad, but
you're biased, of course.
But yeah, it's just, it's nice to watch that personally. And it's like, that's what I want to do. Maybe I won't be able to get to that point. Maybe for some reason I won't, but it's something I'm going after. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to coach you, telling you that you should be careful. I just have to be. And I'm very fortunate to be in this situation, to have you as my coach, because you're honest about it. And so anyway, and
that's one of the reasons I try to be transparent with my numbers is because I don't get paid to be a VO coach, but someday I might. And so I want people to know this is how I've built my business. This is exactly how much I make. This is where I make my money. This is what I'm good at. That's why back a few months ago, I did the on a scale of 10 to 1, you can go back and look at those on YouTube, of being an expert and a know-nothing or a novice. And there are some areas of the voiceover industry or related industries that I'm just not strong in. And so I have to have help. And everybody does. And so when you have a voiceover coach that either won't share their numbers or claims to be an expert in almost everything, I would be very careful with a person like that.
Yeah, definitely. And once again, the reason that we do this podcast is watching you kind of teach me how to become a successful voiceover artist. And that's why I show my numbers, show my struggles, show all that stuff. It's not to coach you. It's just to say, hey, I'm in this. I'm right in this with you.
Yeah.
If you're the same amount of time, you've been in it for a year or 6 months or whatever it is, you can look at my experience and say, that guy is right where I'm at. So I'm just going to, keep my head up and keep pushing along, where it could be hard for people to say, well, Todd's 13 years. He's made, $200,000 or $100,000, 7 years straight at least. And, he can say that, but I'm just starting out. What do I do? So anyway, that's just a little caveat.
Yeah. So that's why I don't, at this point, coach in voiceover. And that's my do's and don'ts for this week.
Yeah. Well, Johnny's not here, so why don't we get into the numbers right away?
Sounds great.
I have VOMP's numbers, so I will start out. This week, VOMP had 50 warm responses.
Oh, wow.
50. 50.
That's great.
And then, of those 50 warm responses, there were 12 auditions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were 6 jobs. So that's pretty good.
And you didn't have one.
I did not.
And I didn't have one. So it doesn't, we're not in that
I have the 6
Okay,
right here.
go for it, man.
Todd Haskell had a job this week.
Great.
Bill DeWees had a job this week. Noel Romano had a job this week. Lisa Hennigy had a job this week. And then Bob Shaw got a job, but it was 2 scripts, so we kind of said it was 2.
Yeah.
2 separate scripts. So that's the numbers for VOMP this week. I guess I'll go ahead with mine.
Please do.
Those don't include my numbers. I had 6 warm responses this week. I had 2 auditions. I had 0 new clients. I did 1 job on Fiverr this week, $24. And then this guy that I've been working with, 2 jobs from him, $100 a piece, returning client. And then I did some editing for you for a grand total of $384. The 2 auditions I had, they'll be making a decision here shortly. And then also next week, I have a guided session with some people for a video game. So a 3-hour to 4-hour session.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be fun,
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yep.
I've never done a video game before, so that'll be interesting. Looking forward to that. Anyway,
And I got to remember that you're using my studio for that because you're going to be directed down there, and so I've got to make sure I work around that next week. So thanks for the reminder.
Hey,
just one thing before I go to my numbers, and just so you guys know, sometimes I can portray that my whole voiceover career has just been one upward steady, like I don't ever struggle with things or there aren't mistakes that I've made. If you've lived life or if you've been a parent or if you've just been a human being or in business, then you've made mistakes and things can go up and down and they can go south pretty quickly. So I just want to preface this little thing just with that. Not all of my stories would be success stories. I try to bring some success stories, not to focus on me, but just to say, here's what I do. Try doing this, and I think maybe it'll help your voiceover business. So before I give mine, I got a revision from a longtime client on Tuesday, and it was just 1 sentence. It arrived at 8:44 in my inbox, and I'm always pretty close to the house and close to my studio. And I sent 2 takes of the 1 sentence by 8:51. 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yep. His response was exactly this. Wow. Capital WOW, 3 exclamation points. That was freaky fast, and it sounds great. Thank you so much. So in my mind, at that point, it was kind of a slow week. And I was thinking, I would really like to charge this person because I know if I said, what would you like me to charge you for this? They probably would have sent me $25 or $50 for just that 1 sentence. That's the kind of client they are. And I just decided, nope, I'm going to do it for free this time. I don't always know why I do it. I don't have a specific, pattern. But a lot of times for really good clients who've paid me thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars over the years, I say, I'm just going to give them this one. So I would have liked to have added that to a slow week, but I'm in my studio and I try to get revisions back as soon as I can so that I can wow my clients. And I know that it's not going to go unnoticed in the future. I know that makes a real impression on people when you get back to them quickly. And revisions, as we talked about a few weeks ago in a do's and don'ts, I get those back as quickly as possible. And here's another example of that. And that will wow your clients. If you can, get your revisions back as quickly as possible, or at least, contact them back and say, hey, got your revisions. I'm planning on doing them this afternoon. Clients love that. So enough said about that. My week, as I said, yesterday, I went over the $200,000 mark for 2022. And so that was in this week's totals. So platforms, slow this week, $984.
Wow.
Direct email marketing, $5,322.24. $5,322.24 for a total of $6,306.34. So my week got busier. It got busier on Tuesday through Friday. Well, actually Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because today I haven't been that busy on a Friday when we're recording this. So my total this week, $6,306.34.
By the way, there's another commercial for direct email marketing. I know you've stayed in it for 13 years.
Yep.
But
there's
like,
money
why
to
not?
be had.
Yeah, it's like, why not
if you stay
start
in the game
now and just it's like
and pour numbers
it's like
into
putting
the
money
funnel.
into the S&P 500.
Yep.
Just keep doing it. Just keep sticking to it.
Yep. I totally agree.
Yeah. And if you need any money advice,
Yeah.
I'm definitely the one you want
You're
to
the man, the guy with a crazy hat and get up on. Yep.
I have
You look
about as
real.
much experience in voiceover as I do with money. So next up, we'll have Jeff Yasick and Mel Yasick. So join us for the local interview.
Hello, everybody. Mom's here. Dad's here. I'm here.
Are you doing it right now?
Yeah, and the boys are right there. They didn't want to be in it.
And you say we're at the Packers.
The
That's what you
Packers.
say, Wisconsin
Packers. Yeah, we're right here in front of the frozen tundra. There's Vince Lombardi. And
You
there's the
remember?
Packers. That's okay. I'm not a big Packer fan, I guess. You're watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Hello, everybody. Hudson Barsness here. My dad's right there, Todd Barsness. And we've also got...
Jeff Yasick, the Hall of Famer.
And
the dad of the Hall of Famer, Mel Yasick.
You've lost your identity. You used to
Completely.
be Mel Yasick.
it's just
and
Jeff's
he was
dad.
your son. Yep. Now you're Jeff's
Exactly.
dad.
Yep.
Yeah. And Kathy, mom, is off to the side. So but she's going to watch to make sure that everything we say is just absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So
Jeff is a Packers fan, Hall of Fame, just voted. What month was it? February of
this year.
Of this year. So not a full year yet.
Right.
Right.
It's for the 2021 season, so
Okay.
he's going to be entered in the Hall of Fame as a 2021 Packers Fan Hall of Fame inductee.
Awesome.
I have never had the opportunity to meet a Hall of Famer. And now I live right next door to a Hall of Famer. How about that? All the years that I've been a Packer fan, never met one, and now I have one on my couch. How about that, Jeff?
That's a good experience.
So, Mel, you work for EMT for Mazomania, is that right? The Mazomania
Yep,
EMT.
I'm the volunteer ambulance service.
And you were a how many year veteran as a state police officer?
Almost 35 years.
35 years. And you've been retired for?
Just over 5 years.
Okay. And you and Kathy have been married for?
I better know this.
Yeah,
She'll hear about it later.
Almost 41 years now.
And you've got 3 boys. Jeff's the oldest.
Yep.
Danny,
Danny's the middle, and
then
Andy's
Andy.
the youngest.
And you have how many? 4 grandchildren? 5
5.
grandchildren.
And they all have Jeff Yasick Fan Club T-shirts.
They
too.
do. Yes.
Yeah.
Which, go ahead and just give the commercial right now. Those are available for sale at the school?
At the Wisconsin Heights School. It's any money they make above what it costs to make the T-shirt will go to the special education department at Wisconsin Heights. And our daughter-in-law actually came up with the design. This is a picture that she took from when Jeff found out that he was the winner of the Packers Fan Hall of Fame when he put his number 1 in the air.
I remember that, yeah.
What we'll do is after this, we'll take a picture of you going like this so we can see exactly what it looks like, and we'll put it on the screen.
Oh, perfect.
After in post-production so they can get a real good look at it.
All right.
So.
And this, I want the autograph too. I got it autographed up on top.
By Jeff?
By Jeff, yeah.
Does he do all, or would it be just too much work for him to, like if people wanted to contact him and get autographs?
It's by special request.
By special
Todd,
request,
And he's pretty accommodating.
Okay.
Yep. I can do autographs like with the fans, and I can do whatever. I'm the Hall of
He'll
Famer.
pose for pictures.
Yeah,
I can pose for pictures.
Do you charge for pictures or autographs yet?
Free. It's free.
It's
Oh,
free.
wow.
How
What a
nice.
deal.
Very
That's the
generous
beauty
of
of
you.
it.
Yeah, it's the beauty of it. And Jeff, you are a graduate of Wisconsinites High School. What year did you graduate again?
2003.
2003. And are you currently employed somewhere? I mean, you used to be, but are you still doing some work around the area?
I'm doing work at PI in Mazo. I used to work at Workies, but they didn't call me yet.
I see, because of COVID and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. That changed a lot of people's employment situations and stuff. So, and of course, this year, as we've already mentioned, you are the Green Bay Packer fan Hall of Famer. Yep, reigning Hall of Famer. So we want to get into that for a little bit. So tell me, Mel, Jeff, Kathy, you can help us out if you need to. Just a little bit about the background for that. There was a fellow by the name, I read some, Jeff Hams, is it? Is that name familiar? Somebody wrote I thought somebody wrote Josh
Josh Haynes.
Josh Haynes.
Hams. He wrote like an essay about
My sister's oldest son nominated Jeff.
So got it.
In
Jeff's cousin.
In November
Of 2021?
2021.
So just last November.
Yep.
Okay. And he had to write, how long was the...
I believe it had to be 500 words or less on why you deserve to be in the Packer Fan Hall of Fame. And they ended up with 10 finalists that were selected by a committee. And Jeff was one of the 10 finalists. And I'm sure there are other deserving people too, but Jeff's heart is just pure green and gold.
Green gold. I did lots of interviews. News 3, Spectrum News, News in Reedsburg, or some other place, and Green Bay had it all.
Yep.
Was
Green Bay had it
that
all.
before you actually were announced? Did you do interviews? Did people do interviews, or was this afterwards, Jeff?
Oh,
It was before.
It was.
he did some
Really?
before and some after.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
And so there were 10 finalists. Is that kind of normal or did they have more some
yeah.
years and less
Well,
other years?
Jeff is the 24th inductee, so it's been going since 1998, and just common by sheer coincidence, Aaron Rodgers is 24th draft pick, and Jeff is
that's why you got number
24th
24.
inductee. So he
Okay.
has number 24 Hall of Fame jersey.
Yep.
Nice.
And so they select it by fan votes. You can vote in the month of January, and 50% of the votes to make the final winner decision. 50% of it's on votes, and 50% of it's by a Packer committee. So
I
it's a
didn't know that.
combination of a vote and a committee.
Okay.
And so we were invited to February 23rd, I think it was,
February
to
23rd.
go into the bowels of Lambeau Field and in the media press room, the same podium that Aaron Rodgers and the head coaches and everybody talks at. Very impressive.
Did you get to meet any of the players? Were they there for that, around it all? It was just
Nope.
Mark Murphy and
Just Mark Murphy.
Don't want to say just Mark Murphy.
yeah,
but-
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
sure.
only Mark Murphy.
Only
Sorry,
I would
Mark.
say.
Sorry,
Right,
Mark.
right,
Yeah. You're
right,
important. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So why don't we take, we're going to put a link in the description for the announcement that's on YouTube.
full
It's on
announcement,
Packers.com.
Yeah.
But we're also going to play a video that either we're going to pick that
Right.
Mel or Kathy had on their phone.
Yeah, they'll
And so
send
we'll
it to
play
us
that
and we'll play it right
right
here.
now.
That the winner of the 2021 Fan Hall of Fame honoree is Jeff Yasick. I think all of May's nominee is here. Man, all right, I knew I would have. On behalf of the Packers organization, congratulations. We have this plaque, and we would like you to say a few words.
Thank you first to the Packers.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum.
Go, Pack, go! Thank you for everyone that voted for me. Thank you to Josh who nominated me. Thank you to my family and friends and all the people at PI and all of my friends around the world. Thanks to Megan who did my haircut. And all of my Wisconsin Heights friends. I'm so happy to be in the Hall of Fame with the Packers. Thank you.
Jeff, just a quick question. I saw your reaction, so I kind of know what was going on in your head. But tell us did you have an inkling? I mean, did you have an idea that you were going to win? Or did you say, boy, I'm 1 in 10. I could go home without winning this. Did you have that in mind? Or did you say, nope, I think I'm going to win?
No, I did fun activities with my family members first. I was eating food and talking football and drinking soda. Then around quarter to 1, I had one interview. News 3 interviewed me before the big celebration. Then Channel 2 in Green Bay interviewed me after I won.
Okay. Did you think you were going to win? Did you think you had a chance?
I think I really had a chance to win.
What when they announced your name?
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, that had to have been the thrill of a lifetime, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
He showed it too. That was a raw reaction to it.
Yeah.
Sitting with anticipation.
Yeah. So then after that, you hung around up there for a little bit. Did you just talk to people and things like that? And then you went home. Did you have a lot of activities? I think you went on a fire truck ride and did you speak? Was it that night that you spoke to people downtown in Mazomanie?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, but we hung around for questions and answers with the media, and kudos and shout out to the Packers, because one of the questions that was asked of Jeff at the podium, hey Jeff, you get 2 tickets and an airline to an away game. Are you taking your mom or your dad with you? And before Jeff could answer, Mark Murphy said, I think we can find another ticket somewhere.
Oh, how nice.
Wow, nice.
Go ahead, Jeff.
That was very nice.
And before you do a commercial, I gotta announce the away game, because I know all the Boston's are big Detroit Lions fans.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
my away game is the Detroit Lions.
Oh. Well, I lived in Michigan for 10 years and I never became a Detroit Lions fan. Jonathan was kind of, because he was born there, but he's starting
mellowed out.
He's mellowed out. So we definitely want the Pack to hand it to the Lions, most certainly.
Perfect.
So what date is that? When are you heading over there?
November 5th.
So you get
November 6th.
And you get airline tickets for 3. You and your mom and dad?
We have to pay for the flight, one extra flight, but we get game tickets and hotels. So we fly Saturday and come home on Monday.
What other things did you, obviously, what other things did you get besides that? Were there some other gifts and honors?
Another home game, which will be the Dallas Cowboys on November 13th. And November 17th is the Tennessee Titans. 3 games in a row that I'm going to.
But
nice.
The other prize part of it was 4 club seats to a home game. And the Packers gave us the top 3 choices, and we were selected to go to the Cowboys game.
Yep.
Nice.
And then a year subscription to Packers Plus.
Yep.
And a $500 gift card for the Packer Pro Shop.
Which I already have.
He could use to buy his mom and dad a nice present with that, I think.
That would be nice.
I saw his face there.
Yeah.
Let me think about that.
But I think what really got Jeff into it, besides his sheer enthusiasm and heart, where he bleeds green and gold, is Josh Hames did a wonderful job in nominating him, and he tied it into how long he's known Jeff his whole life. And the day we met Reggie White in 1994, where Reggie made a special trip when he saw Jeff walking with his walker. Jeff has cerebral palsy, so he's always needed some kind of assistance to get around. And Reggie didn't hesitate. He just made a straight, hey, you want an autograph with me, right?
So I looked up in the clouds and I saw how big he was, and I said, sure.
Jeff was 10 years old then, and he had to look way up to see Reggie's face.
You've got a picture of that, so maybe you can just lift that up, and then
we'll have
Demond will show it. But
yeah.
that's a picture, as people can see, that's a picture of Reggie White on that day. What year was that?
1994.
And that's what they have a tradition, the Packers do. They walk from the locker room across what is it?
It's a training camp, and they ride kids' bicycles.
Yeah.
So to see a 300-pound lineman on a kid's bike is quite a unique experience.
Yeah, that was. I remember seeing that. I think you have a video of that, don't you?
Yep,
somewhere?
we do.
Yeah. So that's nice. And then we'll get to some of the rest of the memorabilia, but do you have anything else? That's a pretty full schedule, but do you have anything else that you have to do as the Fan Hall of Famer, or are these just now the residual things that you get to do all these games and stuff? Do you have any other events that you have to go to?
I have to go to one more parade and one more autograph session at Workies.
Okay.
It's in the works.
Which one is it? Is it the Wild West Day?
It's the Wild West Day.
Okay, that's coming up in just a couple weeks or a few
And we
weeks,
have some rules now that he has to represent all of the Fan Hall of Famers that have ever been inducted. He cannot cheer for a player from any other team if that player's on his fantasy team.
Oh, those are
that'll be
tough rules.
We had to set some ground rules,
especially
if they're playing against the Packers. I mean, that's a no-brainer. but the day that he got the award and he won, we exited the media room and went out the green tunnel where the players run out of and got to go on to Lambeau Field. And there was probably 4 or 5 inches of snow, a hard crust on the snow in parts of the field. And so we're talking, enjoying the sights, and I look up and I said, where's Jeff? He was by the other goalpost doing a victory lap around Lambeau Field in the snow. He'd have to lift his walker up because it would dig into the snow sometimes.
Wow.
That's how I became a Packer Hall of Famer.
And then coming back, just the sheer volume of people for a small community to welcome him home with the fire trucks and the police cars and the DJ and just an overwhelming experience.
Well, I remember him coming to all basketball games, stuff like that at Heights, and for I think just about every season that you've been around, he's been. You guys would show up, and there's Jeff. I think we took a picture with him after one of our playoff games we won, and just everybody knows Jeff. And they know that he loves the Packers, and
he was the first one, I think, one of the first ones to touch the gold volleyball state championship ball when they won in 2008.
2008.
Wow.
So he's a lifelong sports fan.
Yes, I am.
So tell us a little bit more of some of the stuff that you brought here, Mel, and Demond will have pictures of it, but you can hold it up and you can talk us through for a moment or two about each one.
This is the actual plaque that Mark Murphy presented to Jeff, and what's written on it is the nomination, the inscription in the nomination that Josh Ames wrote for him.
Wow.
And so we haven't seen it. We're going to go up at the end of the month and see his name actually at the Hall of Fame.
Next weekend.
Nice.
And then this is a copy of the stockholders' annual report for this year. And prominently displayed in the middle of it is Jeff Yasick getting his award from President Mark Murphy.
Yeah. Wow. Mark Murphy's not a small guy either. He played in the NFL, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
And then
one of
my friends dropped this off from the 115th Fighter Wing. Congratulations to Jeff Yasick.
Wow.
Packer Fan Hall of Fame winner.
That's cool.
Wow.
So those are up in your room, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs a bigger room.
Yeah.
And the last two items we have, this is an unopened box of Wheaties from 1997 with the Super Bowl champs on it.
Wow.
It's obviously way, way past the expiration date.
Yeah.
But just a nice keepsake. And we haven't had any critters get into the box yet or anything.
That's almost as old as I am. I was born in 96, so
wow.
it's right there.
Do you have other things from that year? Or is that about it?
We probably have other things up there. I think, we have 3 complete boxes of Wheaties.
Oh, okay.
And so, but there are other things up there.
Yeah.
Other autograph pictures, things like that.
Because I've got a whole box here of newspapers and stuff like that, that's the Super Bowl.
Mike
Do
Holmgren.
you have that?
Yeah. Yep.
You guys have that?
We do.
Then I've got Brett Favre and
On Sports
stuff
Illustrated.
like that.
Yep.
And so, we kept a whole bunch, the boys and I kept a whole bunch of stuff from the Super Bowl run there.
It was magical.
Yeah.
Magical year.
Yeah.
It made you want to go out and take your shirt off and make a snow angel in the snow.
Well, in 1967, when the Packers won the first one, I got my clothes on and went out and dove around, when they won their first Super Bowl championship. So, it was thrilling.
We, my sister and I, Josh Ames's mom, took Jeff to the Super Bowl championship celebration when they had it at Lambeau. And it was a bitterly cold day. And so we had Jeff wrapped in blankets in a wheelchair going inside of Lambeau. And the drinks we set on the bleacher had about an inch of ice crust on them just from setting them on the bleacher. It's probably 10 or 15 below with wind chills or whatever. One of the linemen took his shirt off and dove into the snow to help celebrate.
Jeff, you got an opportunity you've heard of the Ice Bowl, right? The Packers.
Yes.
You got a chance to kind of feel what it was a little bit like that day when you went there.
Yes, it was really cool.
That right there stands alone as
right.
He deserves to be in the Packers fan Hall of Fame, because that is negative 15 degrees. That's commitment.
And no matter what, when we go to Packer games, they could be winning by 40. We were at the Cowboys game when they destroyed the Cowboys 41-7 or 45-7.
45-7.
And but we stayed for the whole game. We never ever leave Lambeau early when we're there.
Good for
Rain,
you.
snow, shine. And the last item we have, I'm not sure where this came from.
At Lambeau Field.
Is that your favorite piece?
It's unopened.
It's unopened.
It's a roll of Chicago Bears toilet paper.
Yep.
Got to have one of those if you're a Packer fan. Yeah.
Exactly.
You wonder if the Bears, when they get together for podcasts, if they have a roll of Green Bay Packer stuff. Probably worse.
Probably worse.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be judgmental.
Yeah. So we've got. I don't know if you had something, but I had something.
About 10 minutes.
Okay. I thought what we would do is before we close out here, we usually try to have a little fun. And so we're just going to do the best we can. I have 3 Packer trivia questions.
Oh, boy.
And so here, actually, is it 4? And I got 4, but one of them you gave away the answer, which was great. But I'll give it anyway, and we'll all get a free answer for that.
Can I guess before you ask it, Blaine Gabbert or TJ Rubley? Or
I don't even know who those guys are. I think I know who Blaine is.
Jerry Taggy?
Jerry Taggy, Don Horn. So there are 4 possible answers here.
Okay.
Which Packer player was nicknamed, don't shout it out, the Minister of Defense? Was it Sean Jones, Gilbert Brown, don't give it away, Jeff, Reggie White, or Santana Dotson? You get the first choice. Who was it?
My good friend, Reggie White.
There you go.
Yeah. One of the greatest nicknames.
This one might be tougher for you, and I don't expect anybody to get the answer. Well, some of you will. On what day were the Green Bay Packers founded? Was it on August 11th, 1919, or August 11th, 1943?
August 11th, 1919. Oh, yeah.
Did you know that? Did you? Yeah.
I was going to say it was on a Tuesday.
Yeah. You have one of those types of minds that can go, those genius minds that can go back and figure out what.
I'm 2 for 2.
So the Packers just celebrated their 103rd year, if I've got my math right.
Yes.
Yep. Good for you. I didn't know if you'd get that. Okay, here's a toughie, maybe. Which team did the Green Bay Packers defeat in Super Bowl I? Was it the Oakland Raiders, Buffalo Bills or Kansas City Chiefs? Jeff, you want to answer?
Super Bowl one. Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Green Bay Packers.
They sure did.
35
to
21.
No,
10.
35 to
But
10.
that is amazing.
That is impressive, yeah.
That is amazing.
I didn't know the score.
I wrote those notes down because I lived it, so I remember those types of things. But I
Right.
didn't know if he was a big time, Packer.
All Packers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So he's been a Packer fan, even though he's not even 40 years old yet. He's been a Packer fan since 1919, basically.
Pretty
He goes
much.
all the way back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Time
a good way to
travel.
look at it.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And here's the true or false question that Mel gave away, but we'll say it anyway. The Green Bay Packers Fan Hall of Fame was established in 1998. Is that true or false?
Trick question.
True.
Hey!
4 for 4.
Hey.
You passed your. We're going to send this to Mark Murphy now
Yeah.
because you passed your biggest test that you know everything about the Packers, and I know
Right.
more. I'm sure.
But you know what? This whole event has just brought out the kindness in people and the generosity in people, and just meeting random people. Hey, we voted for Jeff, and I'm not even sure who you are. I don't really know you,
Yeah.
but just the people that have a connection, and from reading all of the finalist descriptions and everything, it's just something that stands out.
Well, for a little town like ours, it's kind of a rallying point. I mean,
Sure.
we don't have that many things that you can, but then you have something like this, and you kind of are all connected
Right,
in some way.
right.
But how many did you count how many votes he got, or was that
They
private?
didn't tell us how many he got, but there were almost 80,000 total votes cast.
Wow.
And so, and you're allowed one vote per day, so that's 31 votes if there's 31 days in January.
So lots of people had to vote.
Lots of people had a vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
So it's been quite a wonderful experience.
Anything else you wanted to say before we close out?
When I went to parties, all the people from California talked to me. They've been voting for me.
Even in California?
Yep.
Nice.
The Packers have a wide fan base, so that's I'm not surprised in some facets, because it's just you hear the crowd when they go and play away games, and it's like,
Yeah,
are
they
they
travel
playing
well,
a home
yeah.
game?
Right.
It's loud.
I can tell you, if you sit on the couch with Jeff watching the Packer game, you'll have to switch sides to give the other ear some exposure.
A break.
And our TV never got yelled at as much as it did at the last game against the 49ers. That was very
was
painful.
tough.
We all
Yeah.
wanted to yell at
was
the
But it's a new
TV.
year now.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to the coming year.
Yep.
And I think we should just thank everybody who did cast a vote. And we really appreciate it. Obviously, he wouldn't be here without people voting, so it's very much appreciated.
Yeah. And
Bump,
thanks.
bump, bump,
Yeah.
bump, bump.
Go, Pack, go!
Let's do
Thanks
a
for
full one at the end.
taking the time to come up and visit with
Yeah,
us.
thank
And
you.
we'll
Oh,
make sure you guys get a
absolutely.
copy of this, and we'll put it other places, and we'll make sure we get all that stuff on and make it shine a little bit. So that'll be great. And you
Yeah. So
wanted to
I'll just
break it down, Hudson.
Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Those of you who did, this is part of our 21st episode. We'll have our fun segment next. But before we go, we'd like to do a Packers rally cry or
Yep.
whatever.
All together.
Rally chant.
Yeah.
Bump, 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 ba-dum, bump, bump.
Go, Pack, go!
Woo!
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. What we've got here with our 21st episode, our fun segment, Drew's got, what do you got for us? You got some,
I got some this day in history for when this will air on the 23rd. It's
Okay.
perspective.
And then Dad's calling John, which John's on his way home from Michigan. And we'll see how this works. Boy,
Hi, you're live.
Nope, but that's okay.
We aren't going to edit. I can see the people can't see this. Is there any way for me to record this? So
No,
people can see
I'm
this?
not sure we want to do that.
Okay. Anyway, you guys are you out of your traffic jam in Chicago yet?
Nope. But it's not as bad.
Joe, at this time of day,
It's gonna be
it's gonna be jammed.
Can you hear them?
Yeah. Kind of.
Well,
Are you crazy?
you guys
Are
went
you
to
crazy?
Michigan on
At this time of
Wednesday
day, it's
of
gonna
this
be
last
jammed.
week and spent time with mom's parents and relatives, and now you're on your way back and you're in a traffic jam in Chicago.
Yep.
Traffic
Par for the
jamming.
course.
Which they say, remember, they say that there's 2 seasons in Chicago. There's winter and road construction.
Yep.
Mom's laughing.
She's heard that probably 25 times, and it's still funny to her.
Are you bumper to bumper?
No.
Okay.
Was there for a bit, but it's pretty close. Not bumper to bumper though.
It was pretty
The
cool.
reason that I'm doing this
Jeff coming.
is it's not anything as far as selfishness. It's that John is such a huge part of our podcast that we have to at least have his voice on here.
Yep.
Because if people find out that you're not on the show
Yep.
this week, they're not going to watch. So we can't say that John's not here.
Taste.
Yep. Yeah.
See what
So
it tastes like.
Drew's kind of mad right now because he wants to get to his quiz and stuff.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it. It's
No,
just you just
Todd's
do
innovation.
this stuff from time to time. It's just like just
They
hijacks
get mad
it.
because with my great creativity, I hijack the podcast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm gonna stop doing that, and you guys drive carefully, and we'll see you later. John, thanks a lot.
Okay. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, they're gone. Now I'll be quiet.
Well, at least this time, Mom won't be coming up with food.
Depends how long we go. If we
Yeah,
go
true.
3 hours,
It's very possible.
We've got so much here.
I just noticed Joe's got a flat brimmed baseball cap. Is that the style? Is that you like that style?
It's just what I had in the house.
But you don't bend it,
I just
or will it
didn't.
break?
I just
I'm
didn't.
not saying you
Strong
should.
man
I just
Bendicar.
John Drew has his bent,
His is slightly
old-fashioned
bent.
way. You do, but
This
that's
one-
kind of the
this one's
style.
kind
Is
of-
that still the style now? The flat.
It is for some people,
Okay.
not for real baseball players. It's not.
Okay.
There you go. You guys are looking really, really comfortable. You guys enjoying the space there.
As
that you
Deshaun
have.
would say, I'm feeling very free right now.
Nice.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
We're
That's
glad
good
you're free.
stuff.
Joe's got his Air Santa shirt on. It's not even Christmas time, and he's already ringing in the
I'm bringing Christmas in August.
spirit. Yeah. All right.
So we could kind of get going on this day in history. Again, it'll be Tuesday the 23rd. So we're doing August 23rd. That's what we're doing this day in history.
Okay.
Last week I had a few this day in histories set aside, and a couple of them were good ones, but
Are we not going to use them?
we can't use them anymore because
Oh, okay.
It's not that day in history.
Not that day in history.
It's true. We'll have to get it next year.
We'll have to. Yep, true. We'll have to try that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go through a few of these, and then we also have a couple fun holidays.
I like those.
Those are
my
your
favorite.
Yeah, those are your favorite. I started doing this day in history on the 21st, which is yes, today's the 21st.
Correct.
I started doing it. There weren't very many that were that special. Although there was one where the Ottoman Empire ruler. Have you ever seen pictures of those? Maybe Damon can find one of this guy. I think his name was Suleiman. He had a huge hat.
Oh,
Just a huge hat.
does he like have furs on too? Like,
I didn't
is
see
he wearing
furs.
furs? What does he wear for clothes?
I guess I don't really remember. Maybe
Okay.
like
You were just thrown off by the hat. That was what
that
really
was
got your
yeah,
attention.
but it was huge, and it made
Bigger
you
than a
wonder.
sombrero? You
Oh
think?
man,
Like larger than
you'll see a picture of it.
Now,
Damon will get a picture
what's the
of it.
difference between the Ottoman Empire and an Ottoman couch? I'm just talking about, like, is it the spelling?
One's
Ottoman
a
spelling?
group of people and one's a piece of furniture.
Yes,
Are
I
they
know
spelled
that.
the same?
Are they spelled the same?
Ottomans?
Yep.
I don't know.
Because I've been.
OTT.
I
So
think,
does that mean that
because
they
I think
invented
I've
the
been,
rock
MAN
glider
is the Ottoman
instead of a
Ottoman
rocker?
Empire.
I think what I've been saying in the past is
OTT.
Ottoman, like that, like AUTO.
Oh, like an auto. Ottoman.
I mean, that's how I've said it,
Not
but
Ottoman.
maybe it should be Ottoman.
I think you could probably look it up if somebody wants.
So
the Ottomans-
Ottoman is it's something to put your feet up next to your couch.
Yeah.
So what does that say about the Ottoman Empire?
I don't know.
They were
but
lazy.
People use,
But are we sure they're even spelled the same?
yeah.
Well, I mean, the Ottoman Empire was they kind of ruled. They had a time in history where they kind of ruled.
Maybe it was the people that conquered them then that said, "We'll make the Ottoman." Like that's just something
That's
we
our
put our feet
footstool.
on. Yeah.
That's very possible.
That's very philosophical.
Or they just or they had chairs. The Ottoman Empire had chairs that were gliders with the little leg glider thing. The Ottoman, and that's what they invented those, and that's why
I'm
we
not
have
sure
them
you
now.
know what an Ottoman is.
What? Isn't that what Donnie and Janet have over at their house?
Well, it's kind of. I mean, that's
That's
a
what they
form.
call
I
an
mean,
Ottoman.
I guess I don't know if that's an Ottoman. I don't know.
I don't know enough about it. I don't even know if we're talking about the same spelling.
What's the thing we have in our basement?
We might be as far. You might have brought up something that's as far away from the truth.
Well, I
as
mean, whether or
anything.
not they have the same spelling, we're
But that's
talking
not our
about
job
two different
we're
things.
just
I
bringing
mean,
stuff
It
up.
has the same name.
we need to have the disclaimer because people are.
especially on what Joe and Hudson said, we definitely need to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let's first figure out if they're spelled the same, because if they're spelled the same, maybe there's a connection. If they're not spelled the same, then there's probably no connection at all.
Could be lost in translation, though. I think that's where Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm taking,
That's a
I'm
first
taking
that
this serious.
your brains are working together.
Yes.
True.
All right. So all of these dates are AD. So 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius begins stirring. They said that I don't know if they have an exact date, because I think the eruption happened and buried all these people, and I think that they just probably around that time. I think Mount Vesuvius, is that around Italy?
Do you know what the historian said? He was buried. Couldn't get to it. He was just buried. And all of his
Buried
So
in work.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
He was
said-
buried in history.
He said he's buried.
Huh?
The historian said he's
He was
buried.
just so buried.
No,
he
they were-
he
somehow-
couldn't
He
get
couldn't
to
say
it. He
like if
couldn't
it
get
would have
to
been a
the-
swamp.
So
he
you're
could have said,
saying
"I'm
that
swamped."
he said
But-
that I'm buried.
Yeah, he said I'm buried.
Okay.
He's like, I can't
Okay.
write this down in
Yeah.
history. I'm buried with
Yeah.
other history.
Well, we're getting to the point in our podcast right now.
We've lost.
Right now, no,
We're
seriously,
off the
where
tracks right
where
now.
viewers are saying, do we want John back so we have less of Joe,
Yeah.
or do we want John not back so we have more of Joe?
Yes.
I
That's
guarantee
the
you they're
question.
saying that.
Little
Can
do
we get
people
less
know,
of
We'll
Joe?
find out by the views.
Little do people know too that Joe is an exquisite piano player.
Yes.
So what we were thinking about doing is having kind of like an organist on here, and he was gonna like they do in the
An organist.
like
An
they
organ?
do. No, an organist, a person who plays the organ. They have those in baseball. Rum, bum, bum,
Yeah, we know that.
bum, bum, bum.
But what does that have to do with
I
Joe
don't know what
and
that
the
is.
Ottoman
It's-
Empire?
That's not. That
we're
wasn't-
past it?
We're past that.
All right, next one.
Maybe
out
Joe
there.
could sit on an ottoman while he's
Did we
playing the
figure out
piano.
what happened with the Ottoman Empire?
That's
No, I
what
just
I'll
told
be
Oh,
you.
we
doing.
went to Vesuvius.
Yes.
Right. I told you. I was just saying that there was that the ruler of the Ottoman
Okay.
Empire.
What was that
Suleiman.
one thing you did? That voiceover thing? Was it Krakatoa?
Yeah,
Krakatoa.
but that was
That's another-
That's a different volcano.
Oh,
somewhere.
Sure,
I don't
it's
even know
not
where
Vesuvius.
it is. No,
because that's
it's different.
Vesuvius and
Yep.
Krakatoa. is.
Yep. And then, so what about? So we don't know. Your point is we weren't sure before Joe got his corny joke out about the historian.
I liked
We
it.
weren't sure whether that was an exact date because there wasn't anybody around.
Apparently, it just
Left.
it began
No survivors.
stirring at that point.
Oh, I see.
So it was dormant, and then it started to become active. That's between, right?
I think. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. We're getting way outside of anything that some of us know.
Okay.
So let's move on from Mount Vesuvius. Approximately 1,300 years later, so we're jumping way ahead here. The Scottish patriot William Wallace is executed for high treason by Edward I of England. So that's
What did he do?
the movie
I mean,
Braveheart.
Oh,
William Wallace.
Oh,
He was.
Oh.
Well, I mean, he's Scottish, and
Yeah.
this is an English rule
Yeah.
of the entire, I guess, island of
Scotland.
Great Britain,
Great Britain or whatever.
Yeah, those areas.
So William Wallace was stirring up patriotic fever
for Scotland.
Yeah,
to be
independent.
Separate. Yeah,
independent. Yeah. Correct. Yep. Anyway, 1500 exactly.
Yikes. Governor
Francisco de Bobadilla arrives in the Indies. Soon after, he arrests and sends former Governor Chris Columbus back to Spain in chains.
I didn't know that happened.
A long boat ride in chains.
I didn't know that happened.
I didn't know that either.
What did Christopher do that was so bad?
Christopher, I don't know what he did.
What did Chris do?
That would be a long trip if you're in chains the whole time.
Be a long trip.
It's a long
Isn't
plane
just
ride being in a seatbelt.
Being in chains.
I can't imagine what it's like on a boat back
isn't
then.
just riding on a boat back then enough of a punishment?
Yeah.
Like, here's some chains. Here's another.
Is that kind of the end of Christopher Columbus then?
If he got, I can understand putting him in chains in order to get on the boat.
Yeah.
But after you're on the boat and you're at sea, it's like, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, good luck swimming back. Unless Chris was a great swimmer.
Maybe he was. Olympic.
I don't know, but what is that kind of the last we hear of Christopher Columbus, or did he get out of the problems with the officials and then
was this
That's
before?
all I got.
What year was this again?
Where was he arrested?
1500. So it was approximately 8 years
1492.
after he
sailed the Ocean Blue.
Sailed the Ocean Blue.
Where was he arrested again?
In the Indies.
So is this a setup for
No,
a
I
joke
just
again?
thought, how could you here? I founded these places, and you're arresting me. Like,
from the place
how did
that
he
I
not
founded?
write a law that would absolve him from all that?
I don't know if it was on his mind.
Joab, nobody's above the law. Okay, he wasn't the law.
Seems like bad.
I am the law.
Bad. He didn't think ahead.
Yeah,
He didn't think ahead that people were going to actually do that to him.
In 1541, the French explorer Jacques Cartier, I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, he lands near Quebec City in his third voyage to Canada. I don't know why the first two weren't memorable, but his third one nailed it.
Third time was the charm.
Quebec City. Jacques. 1617, the first one-way streets were open in London. One way.
It's a one-way ticket
Huh.
to the blues.
Wonder why they did that.
First one-way streets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if sometimes you wonder if it was just easier to get traffic a certain way, but the problem is it was all horse and buggy at that point, so I'm not really sure.
Why do they do one-way streets? Why do they? Because think about this. In our little area, Mazomanie, as far as I know, they don't have any one-way streets.
But Black Earth does.
Black Earth has one-way streets.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a great question.
Why? That's
I would
a
think
question
in
we need to
larger.
get.
I would think
need to
in
get a hold
larger
of what-
cities, it's in order to alleviate traffic. It's probably a way to send them around a certain way so that you don't have, or maybe smaller streets and you don't want to have
two lanes
because you got to have parking.
That are people live on that street, and so it's.
I'm not sure I've given any real answers.
No, that
there.
might be those might be all the reasons or one of those. But it just hit me when you said that, because like in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I went to school and then lived for 6 or 7 years and then worked there for a total of 10, they had a lot of one-way streets. And that was confusing when I first got there, because you could go down one and you'd be going the wrong way. And people were not happy with you, and that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen them in Madison, when you're driving around there. But yeah, Black Earth's got like 3 or 4 of them down that one way, and it's like I don't know,
they've got
both
3
sides.
one ways down one way.
So it's hard to know.
On Mills Street or Highway 78, the main highway through there, and then on Blue Mounds, there's 3 or at least a couple of them.
They got
that
one
are
down
one
the way
way
the bank comes.
Yeah, and maybe it has to. I don't have any idea. That
it doesn't
we
make
need to
sense.
get the mayor or the president of and have us explain that to us. Why Black Earth? Because Black Earth is smaller than Mazo.
Yeah,
it is. All right.
Anyway. I don't think we have any one ways. I'm trying to think. I don't think we do.
I don't think we.
No,
we're
not sophisticated enough to have one ways.
Emily Road, which is just a block this way, out in the country, kind of. That should be about a one-way.
Yeah,
because you get 2 trucks on there. I mean, I'm talking just regular pickup trucks. You got to get off in the grass.
Yeah, with the The mailboxes, that's tough then too.
Yeah. All right. 1784. Eastern Tennessee settlers declare their area an independent state and name it Franklin. A year later, the Continental Congress rejects it. So for a full year, they just said, we're independent. I wonder if that kind of stuff soon after the Revolutionary War, that kind of stuff was like, maybe because maybe there was still some, British sentiments that were still around, or maybe there were some people that thought that the Revolutionary War didn't go far enough. They wanted to even be more free.
That's a good point.
I wonder if that kind of stuff happened more often than you think.
So you mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, like, did these settlers, they declared that the area was independent. They just set it out into the woods.
Yeah.
And that's why it took so long. The Continental Congress was like, oh, hey, you can't do that.
Seceding now is like a great, that's like, for some people, it's the greatest thought.
Yeah.
And for other people, it's like the treason almost.
Yeah.
And back then, maybe it wasn't so much because they had already had a
still
revolution.
fresh.
Yeah, it was fresh. And
fresh.
people were still making up their minds and allegiances and stuff like that. That's probably why, I would think.
Yeah.
Figured that out.
Good times.
That was easier to figure out than the one-way streets.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten there.
Probably never will. Go ahead.
1793, French Revolution. The National Convention adopts the levée en masse.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even know what that, yeah. It's conscripting all able-bodied men. I'm able-bodied man.
Yeah, that's me. Able-bodied man.
Between 18 and 25 for military service during the French Revolutionary Wars. So,
what was that?
The draft.
What was that thing again? What was the
French word?
Was
the
it
French
live,
term?
Was it live Moss? Is that what it? That's kind of what it sounded like.
It's LEVENMASSE.
Yeah.
Live en masse.
Yep. Live in Moss. Live in more. It's like Taco Bell's.
Yeah, I would
Speaking
doubt
of
that.
Taco Bell, we had a wonderful experience there when we were in Green Bay.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
What's there to talk about?
We went through we went through the drive-through. We were like, man, McDonald's and Taco Bell are about a once a year occurrence for some people. You can only handle it about once a year. There's one time a year though you get a hankering for it. We got a hankering for it. We went and we ordered. We were in line, drive-through. We got to the first window, and they said, "This is your total," which was way more than it should have been. And then we handed them the money, and they handed us the drinks, and they handed us the food right then.
Yeah.
And I thought, don't you want to hold on to that for just a
You
little bit
to look
longer?
back like
How many? Honestly, how many minutes was it?
It was less than 5. Because
That's
we
kinda
ordered.
scary.
I don't know if we were being projected over some sort of loudspeaker so they could hear our order as they were doing it, or if they just had 50 of whatever we had ready to go.
We did
That's
order
scary.
pretty much the same thing, all of us.
Yeah.
But the quickest turnaround time.
Huh.
That's the fastest
Fast
fast food
food.
I've ever had. It
That
was
is
still
fast
very
food.
good.
Yeah.
But it was fast.
Very fast.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
All right. So we got from the French Revolution to Taco Bell that quickly.
Live in Moss.
Live in
Yep.
Moss because of that.
Yep.
1799, another Frenchman, Napoleon Bonaparte, leaves Egypt for France en route to seize power. So I think there was a little vacuum there when the French Revolution occurred. There was a vacuum in power, and he kind of took over.
Was he exiled to Egypt? Is that why he was there?
That's a
Wasn't
good
he
question.
exiled
I thought
several
he
times?
was.
I think he was exiled several times.
Because
I think he came.
French
I think he
people?
came back
By the
several different
government.
times.
Yeah.
I thought I remember him coming back several
I mean,
different times.
I do think he was exiled.
Wasn't he super
But
short,
I don't know
too?
if it was. I don't know if it was around this same time that he was exiled, or if he was off fighting, because he was off on. He had multiple campaigns where he was off fighting, in different
conquesting a
kind
little
of yeah. So in Egypt was one of them, but anyway.
So maybe he was doing business for country of France, not exile.
Yeah.
That might have been the total opposite.
And maybe he felt like that was a good time to come back and make sure he inserted himself. Again, those are all, we can have disclaimers on those.
I think we're close, though. That's nice.
Very close, yeah. 1869, the first carload of rail freight, boots and shoes, arrives in San Francisco from Boston after a 16-day trip.
Boot, scoot, and boogie.
That's a long way to go for boots and shoes. But can you imagine, like, if you, back in those days, you lived in San Francisco and you needed to order something from a catalog or something like that, and normally it would take a month or more to get, you know, however they did it, and it took half that time. First Amazon right there.
Can you imagine if you had to wait that long? Although sometimes we do, I guess, now.
Yeah, it does seem like we do wait quite a way
because
all the time.
of supply chain issues.
Yep. Yeah, 16 days is a little much, but like if you're purchasing something that's maybe a little bit more customized, sometimes you can wait that long. Recently, Deshaun got a bat this last season,
baseball bat,
and it took a little while. So
well, and BJ Ruland, who's a viewer, been a guest here.
Yeah,
he said that for my truck, he would have a hard time getting steel, just because you just can't get it.
Just can't get it. We would, but we can't get it. 1883, Philadelphia Quakers make 27 errors against the Providence Grays in a 28-0 shutout defeat. So back then, which I didn't even realize. Yeah, back then, wild pitches, walks, passed balls all counted as errors.
Wow.
Prior to 1888.
You said 27 errors.
Yeah, but wild pitches, walks, and pass
so
balls.
So that's not that many in one sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously.
It would be interesting to see nowadays how many errors teams have then. I'm saying like that are actually counted like that.
It was 1883. So it was prior.
Because there was a time when we watched that baseball by Ken Burns that the pitcher was only there to just get the ball and play. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So be interesting if that had changed just around that time where they're actually trying to strike them out, and maybe the catchers were just a little bit behind in there.
Well, I know they didn't have a lot of gear on. I would have been scared too. I would have had a lot of pass balls.
Mm-hmm.
Probably almost every pitch. Without a face mask on,
I think I just would have stood at the backstop and waited for the
ball.
The question is though, with all the equipment we have now, would you still have that many pass balls?
It's very possible. But I would have more. I guarantee I'd have more.
That would be a skill issue, not a fear issue.
That's true.
A self-preservation
Although
issue.
I have caught one time before, and I was very scared behind the plate.
Very afraid. 1904, the automobile tire chain was patented. I had to look that up just to make sure. But it literally was just the chain that goes around a tire for inclement weather.
Yeah. For the ice.
I don't know why they needed to patent that. Seems like it's just a piece of chain.
Other than like people plowing snow, I'm talking about like with their little tractors or stuff like that. Have you ever seen cars driving around like I did when I was a kid?
Yeah.
With chains on. That's what you do. You put snow chains on your truck because a lot of them only had two-wheel drive, so then you got more traction with
only some tractors and maybe four-wheelers from time to time.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're watching like a documentary or you're watching something about like Alaska or Montana, when there's just, tons and tons of snow. But otherwise around here, I would think those chains, you'd bust them up pretty easily because the roads get cleared. Well,
not ours. We should probably invest here on Whitechapel Street.
They didn't. That was the point. They didn't get cleared as quickly, so there was more packed snow. The roads weren't as good 50, 75 years ago. The tires weren't as good.
True.
The deep tread and the length of
snow tires.
So yeah, a lot of farmers when I was a kid had chains on their farm trucks, their pickup trucks, so they get around in the winter.
Well, and probably farm trucks aren't treated as nicely as other truck, like maybe my truck. I'm saying that you don't. I'm saying that it's beat up. You're not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna put new tires on this farm truck. I'm just gonna keep
chains. How many you got chains on left?
We got to get moving here because I just looked at the time.
We've only got a couple minutes left.
All right. 1933, Mahatma Gandhi released from Indian jail following another hunger strike. They said, listen, you eat or you're going to jail.
And we'll make you eat.
Yeah. Done with this hunger strike. In 1939, John Cobb, he was a Briton. He was a British person. He drives 365 miles an hour at Bonneville Flats. I didn't even know you could drive that fast.
What was he using?
Some sort of
jet
vehicle
engine or something.
Can you imagine?
You know those sleek
hopefully
ones?
Hopefully the windows weren't open.
You know those really sleek hot rods that they race? I don't know. And then they've got like things on the back.
Nitro or
umbrella.
sort of.
You know, those things that pop out.
Yeah,
parachute type things.
Well, if somebody said that you could go 365 miles, I'd be a little surprised today. I would have surprised me a little bit that you can go that fast on land driving something like that.
What year was that?
1939.
1939.
Johnny Cobb.
Did he live after?
Well, he was in an accident several years later, which
okay.
probably makes
sense. Daredevil.
But he was in it was a water, trying to go the fastest in water. Some sort of boat.
Question for you. We've only got a couple minutes. Are we going to just try to finish this up and have him just give them, because the most important thing is the dates?
We're going to keep going, I think. We're going to
Okay, because we don't have to go a long time, but I think the whole idea is
the chop session.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't we just do that? I mean, you may as well.
Audio
why don't we
split.
just do it now?
We're going to be right back with some more of This Day in History and
stay with us.
Some
fun
holidays.
All right.
You won't want to miss
that. You won't want to miss that.
And we're back. Yeah, I've got several more here. I mean, early on we took a little time to get John on the phone, which is just perfect. I was really happy we did that. That was really nice to have.
Honestly, I think the video was going to show that you weren't that happy with it.
That might have gotten.
I was just saying,
was he as mad as I was?
Here's the same face.
Here,
right
take control.
This is the same face I had.
Dad says, take control. And then
we have got to have.
Make sure you run us the right time.
We've got
let me go overtime.
Are we on right now?
Yeah,
we're on.
We've got to have a meeting of the minds here and for you folks. Now, I went before the folks. I laid myself bare with Cal, asking. Well, it ended up being just Cal, but I was imploring the people to tell. Do you want us to eat?
You're 0 for 1
on our podcast, and right away, Cal was the only one that fed back.
He stopped. He said he stopped mid. Back. He said he stopped mid podcast, mid question, and typed it in. That's how bad he didn't want you.
He's outgoing. He's almost a radical podcaster. He's gonna get on there and type right away. But other people.
What's the other thing you're gonna?
No. But other people aren't. Most people don't. The hundreds of people that watch this
we actually
aren't
do
feeding
have that.
back.
That's true.
And so I think by virtue of that, they're saying we like what Todd's doing.
That's true. No, that's not. That doesn't mean that.
I think they are. I think they're saying we like what Todd's doing.
If you are sitting there and you like
Cal, because he's going to go against me again.
If you're sitting there and you like what you're hearing from Dad, please comment, because he thinks that he's got 100 and some people that are on his side, and I doubt it.
And it's just Cal against him.
It's just Cal against.
Okay, but the point being is there's I hijacked, and I kind of regularly do that. Mm-hmm. So that's the point: would people just as soon just jump right into this, or do they like the little meanderings? That I think is the question.
Todd's rabbit trails.
Yep. Okay.
It's up to trails to you.
All right, we'll jump back in time here a little bit because I was trying to go a little bit faster. 1923. Paavo Nurmi, nicknamed the Flying Finn, which is a lot easier to say. He was of Finland. He runs a world record 1 mile in 4 minutes, 10 seconds in Stockholm.
Is that still?
No.
That record stands until 1931. So 8 years, 4 minutes. 4 minutes, he ran a mile. That is...
What's the point? Who cares if you run? That's like that saying.
If I could run that fast, I'd run everywhere.
Yeah.
I think they used to think medically that you would hurt yourself if you ran too fast, like a 4 minute mile. Mm-hmm. And then Roger Bannister ran like 3:58. He was a Brit too, and he ran the first sub 4 minute mile.
Yeah. They thought. I think they thought that your heart would explode or something.
That's why I don't run 4-minute miles. Strictly.
You actually, if you put your mind to it, you would probably be the type of guy that could. That's fast though. Not a 4-minute mile, but maybe a 5-minute mile.
You could probably do.
I bet you I could do it something in the forest.
What's the fastest you've ever done?
Have you ever I don't. It was it was unofficial because we did it at Mazo.
What's your 40-yard dash time?
Oh,
and the Black Earth people always claim that ours wasn't an actual mile.
Okay,
but I think when I was in 4th or 5th grade, I was like 6 minutes and something. I was kind of fast though as a younger kid, just because a lot of the kids didn't have the coordination, and I never really had a growth spurt. I just kind of just eventually got to where I'm at. I don't know how I got there, but
slow and steady wins the race. True.
I mean, not for height.
What did you say your time was?
6 something. I can't remember.
Okay, but you were in the grade school.
Could either be 6
minutes
I'm fairly
or
certain 6:59.
That's. I mean, obviously, I think if I worked at it, I guess now, if I worked to just run a 1 mile race, I don't want to put anything on paper.
Yeah, when I was younger, but I don't remember what it was. I just know I won once.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, we had.
I just knew I had to beat the person in front of me.
What were those? What were those called?
Field days or fun days or whatever.
Yeah,
that we'd run it at.
These are fun days.
Yearly.
Nothing fun
right
about
at the end
running
of
a
last
mile.
week of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd get Jim Van Fossen would be doing the thing in his windbreaker pants. And
the gym teacher.
The gym teacher, yeah.
There you go.
What a great name. He was built for that job, to be the gym teacher.
His first name was actually spelled G-Y-M.
He changed it. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he was doing it, and he'd take it, and he was a fun guy.
Speaking of the Mazomanie gym, we're done playing basketball in the Mazomanie gym because as we talked to Scott Moore, the new principal of the
Wisconsin Heights
Elementary School, both Black Earth and Mazo have had a school for 150 years. I'm just approximating. And now it's all going to be out at Wisconsin Heights.
Yep.
First time.
And so I was percolating an essay in my mind about the gym, about the Mazo gym, just because I spent so much time in it, so many memories and stuff.
Like a poem? Or like
kind of a
short story?
Yep.
Sonnet?
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Maybe I'll share that sometime with the pictures of the gymnasium.
Yeah, true.
But I'll probably do. I won't do it on a podcast.
A farewell.
I don't want it to be.
It could be its own video.
Hijack. Well, it depends on what people say.
True.
That's
if
true.
they say anything.
In 1943, 50th day of the Battle of
the Bases,
Kursk, USSR. Largest tank battle in history ends with Russia's defeat of Germany. Over 10,000 tanks take part. Nearly 250,000 combatants killed. Can you imagine 10,000 people, let alone tanks? Like, how big was this field that they were fighting on that you could have 10,000 tanks out there, let alone people?
I mean, Russia's huge.
Well, that's true, but I mean, it's not like they're just fighting all over on Russia.
Yeah.
This is a certain area.
But it is possible that Russia has a very big field that they...
I bet you they have several big fields.
Maybe they just have one set aside for tanks, and they said, "Hey, we got to take this to the tank field if we're going to do that."
Do you think your tanks can beat our tanks? We'll show you.
We have 1,600 people in Mazomanie.
Yep.
And we have
7 times.
Black Earth has one tank.
That's true.
They do. Their
cannon.
Cannon
it's a
part.
cannon.
It's not a tank. It's a cannon.
It's close.
That throws.
Yeah.
It's as close
It has
as
a
we
long
get.
barrel.
There's
like
a tank
cannon.
in Sauk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool tankard.
Mm-hmm.
That's
All right.
one. We need 9,999 more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that cannon doesn't count as a tank.
It's very true.
Wasn't there? No,
It's
that
called
was
the
just always
cannon
a
park,
It was
not
always
the
a
tank
cannon.
park.
It was always a cannon. It was never
Yep.
okay.
Never a tank.
Okay.
let's get the first thing right, Joe.
It's not a tank.
That's not a tank.
It's a
That's
cannon.
not-
Well, you're wondering what year they switched the tank
Yeah.
for a cannon.
Which
You
year
got
they
you
moved it
tanked
out.
on that one, Joe.
Yeah.
In 1947, the first Baseball Little League World Series happened in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Happening right now.
The Maynard Midgets beat the Lock Haven All-Stars 16-7.
Good.
That was probably when they didn't have a global
I would doubt
thing.
it.
I would think it was just the United States probably.
Yeah. I do kind of like how we do that, though, sometimes. You do World Series, it's just kind of us.
yeah, exactly.
Like, well,
that's our little world.
But it does combine all, nowadays.
Now it does. You're right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny, though. Prior to that, though, it's just
that
like,
is funny, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the best that's going on out there.
Or like
Just
the
so you know.
World's Fair. And it's like, okay, it's here.
But you can't have it everywhere.
Do they have a tank at the World Fair?
I don't think so.
Moving on.
Maybe it's a cannon.
1960, the world's largest frog was caught. 3.3 kilograms, which I didn't know what was, so I translated it.
It's too hard based on tens.
7.25 pounds. 7 pounds of frog.
That's a small dog.
Equatorial Guinea. Well, that's where that was found.
So,
but it's like, caught. First of all, that thing's massive. Like, how do you miss it? You know? Probably the native people there are probably like, yeah, that thing's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Why it wasn't caught and eaten? A little bit interesting to me.
might have been part of their religion or their whatever.
But the frog legs on that guy.
I know. Can
I
you
mean,
imagine?
who cares feed a family.
You're hungry.
A turkey leg, probably.
A drumstick. Big old drumstick.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's what they said. They have those babies for Thanksgiving. All right. This is a Packer related. 1985, Paul Hornung awarded $1.1 million by a Louisville court against NCAA, who barred him as a college football analyst for betting on games back in his professional days.
Okay.
So he won $1.1 million.
So he didn't bet.
No, I think that the problem is that the NCAA barred him from doing any games because of his betting in his.
If he lost money because of that.
Yeah,
earnings,
potential earnings.
He had a lot of money to bet.
They said, Paul can call games, but that's a little awkward now that Paul's gone against the NCAA. He's probably not going to.
What number did Paul wear for the Packers?
I think he wore number 5.
5? What was his nickname?
He was the Golden
Boy. So you guys know so much.
Yeah.
And where'd he go to college?
Notre Dame. That's why he was the Golden Boy.
What position did he play?
He played
fullback.
I think he played quarterback.
Quarterback is right.
Well, the Packers? Halfback.
Oh, Joe, do you know the Packers at all?
I thought we were just talking strictly Packers.
Halfback.
You're talking to the guy who...
This is Packers
You're
history.
talking to the guy who we asked him a question and he
said... No, nobody said anything to him. He just said Packers.
Packers. And it had nothing. He was looking at his phone and we said, Joe, something, and he said Packers.
That's why you should have been up here with Jeff.
Yep, that's true.
At our interview. Anyway, we got to move along.
All right, this is the last one. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina forms over the Bahamas, later becoming a Category 5 hurricane. Near and dear to our heart.
Yep.
Sure is. Demond Deshawn came, 10 days before that?
17 days before Katrina, but of course.
17? Okay.
But of course, that was where they lived, right down there in New Orleans.
Yeah, right there in it.
Yep.
Wow.
Here's some fun holidays. I don't know how this is so fun, but it's International Blind Dog Day.
Blind dog?
Yep. They
Do
get,
they need
to have themselves a day.
Do they need a
human to take them around in case?
Say that, but
Do you
maybe
think there's
another
ever been?
dog.
Do you think there's ever been a seeing eye dog that's blind?
I don't know. That's just weird.
Talk about the blind leading the blind.
That's terrible.
Uses its other senses.
We're going to cut that one.
No, I think we're good with that. That's good. That's good.
That's good material right there.
Oh boy! But that's a very strange.
How would
holiday.
the owner know?
How would the dog know?
We can't use that.
Yeah, we can.
Oh.
We're gonna have to make it.
We're gonna cut on that.
No, I'm keeping it.
That's good stuff. That's my own joke. That's why.
He's enamored of his own humor.
Very clever.
Oh boy,
That's
Stick
pretty
that way
good.
back in the archives.
That relationship probably didn't last long.
Joe's
They're short-sighted. Look both ways before you cross the street.
Yeah. All right. National Levi Day. Somebody should have been wearing jeans. Levi
Strauss.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Founded in San Francisco. That was from California right there.
Levi Stadium.
Bring it right back. National Ride the Wind Day. It seems like that could be a problem, but it's all about airplanes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's not Break the Wind Day.
No, definitely
Christopher
not.
Cross had a song in the 70s, Ride Like the Wind.
Oh, Ride Like the Wind.
Gonna ride like the wind.
And then akin to that is Cheap Flight Day, which is Tuesdays. A lot of times you found that you can get cheaper flights for Tuesday. So
does it always happen on a Tuesday?
I don't know. Okay. That was just that one on Tuesday. I would imagine it was. That probably. There's also I think National Sponge Day, Sponge Cake Day.
Ooh. Tuesday we'll have to get a sponge cake.
Do you like sponge cakes?
I don't remember if I've had many.
Like a lot of times they'll have like fruit topping on it, strawberries.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like it so much. I'm not a big.
That's the worst thing.
You're
is
like
putting
that.
soggy.
Like you go to Culver's, you get like lemon ice or something, won't you?
That's once. It's like, wait a second.
Well, but that was once.
John's like that too. He's Mr. Fruity.
Really?
Yeah. Fruity Pebbles. Yeah.
I'd say chocolate and peanuts.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Cookie dough. That's a good one. M&M's.
Yeah.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stick to the good stuff.
This is our 21st.
This is our 21st episode.
And Jeff and Mel Yasick were here.
They sure were.
That
good,
was
clean fun, Joe.
That was big.
Go, Pack, go. That was good.
And
what else did we do? We had do's and don'ts today, Todd's tips. And not today, but yesterday.
Yeah. But then coming up, we've got some people locally. We're going to interview Scott Moore.
We sure
who's
are.
The principal of the new elementary school, Wisconsin Heights. And we've got Greg Campbell, who's a voiceover talent. That's
voiceover talent,
up.
So we've also got some things in the work, which we'll probably, Dad and I will talk about in a separate video off of the podcast. We're thinking about going in a different way, splitting things up. And so as we get more details with that, we will be
That's the second tease to it. Dad did it the first time.
I know he did.
So we aren't changing any personnel things like getting different family members up here. I mean, is Drew, Joe, and John still going to be part of this?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if the big higher ups that run the podcast,
trying to get rid of us,
the corporate.
Well, with all of your shenanigans, people might think that you run the podcast.
Oh, sure.
They might think that I'm on the outs. Maybe I'll start my own podcast.
Yeah,
maybe during this.
That's what you do sometimes.
It's true.
Have my own podcast during it.
So, anyways, that's 21
in the books.
Yeah, if you liked it, like it. So that's what we've got for 21. Thanks, Drew, for coming prepared.
Yeah,
I think we've got 37 subscribers. I don't know what that means.
Don't make
they subscribe to it, but do they get notifications?
I think so.
They sure do.
Okay, so
right when something posts, they're like, boom, we're on that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they're just waiting for it. They're probably just
refreshing the page
the whole time,
every minute,
even though they know
Tuesdays.
it comes out on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
They're
all
hoping
week.
it comes out Monday
earlier. Yeah.
If it had just come out Monday,
This could
then
come out
my
early.
day,
Maybe
this week
maybe this week it will come out. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
It'll come out Monday.
So they just keep checking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've overstayed our welcome. Nobody's watching this anymore.
Well, you still should probably close it up.
We probably should. Yeah. Thank you for watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. Hudson, Drew, Joe, Dad, and Mom and John on the phone. Thank you for checking in with us. We'll see you next week. Did you like that video? Check out more from the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast right over here. Or subscribe to our channel right here.